This is Ed here with etrailer.com, and we're taking a look at the PullRite SuperLite 5th wheel hitch for your 2022 Ford F-450. So when you go with something like the PullRite system, what you're looking for is something that's going to allow you to get additional distance from the front of your trailer and the back of your cab, as well as an easy way to hook up. And the SuperLite system is going to offer all of those things as well as easy setup. The number one thing that stands out the most about the SuperLite kit is the fact that it gives you this additional offset of 7.5 inches while still maintaining a 25,000 pound towing rating. So what's cool about that in this truck, you're going to be able to increase your turning radius as far as you go up from 60 degrees up to 88 degrees. And that test is based off of a 96-foot trailer on a flat surface, but nonetheless, you can see how that's a benefit as far as making those tight turns when you're going through those truck stops or campgrounds. As far as your overall height, you can adjust between 16 3/4 inches all the way up to 19 1/4 inch. So that's going to give you plenty of clearance to use a tonneau cover if you were to use one with the PullRite. Your capacity is right at 25,000 pounds, but as you can see on the label, it is SAE J2638 tested. So what that is a standard that is rated for 5th wheel hitches and goosenecks up to 30,000 pounds. Your weight capacity is at 25,000 pounds, so you want to stick to that, but just so you'll know that it is overbuilt so it can withstand the abuse that it's going to have out there on the road. Your construction is black powder coated steel, and that's going to hold up against corrosion and all those bumps and bruises that your hitch is going to catch out there during your adventures. You're going to have 2 set screws, and you also have 2 set screws on the side to secure your cone in position. And here's your ball release, so you can lock your ball into the cone and release your ball. Your heavy duty kingpin adapter bolts directly onto your kingpin, and it's going to work in place instead of having a pin on the plate for your kingpin. It's kind of like a reverse gooseneck where you're going to have the ball on the trailer, and you're going to be able to just back this guy on, line it up very easily, and it just drops right into place. So this is going to be a real easy way to get hooked up, and a nice way to get additional clearance, because in this configuration with the cone to the rear, you actually pick up an additional 7.5 inches from the center of your axle. If you were to reverse the configuration, you still get additional room with your offset, and it's at 3.5 inches. A real cool feature with this is also, that's kind of cool, is that you're not necessarily going to have to get in your bed to release your ball. It comes with this included hook where you can reach over and disengage, so you can unhook really easily. So this is actually pretty handy for someone that's not necessarily wanting to reach for a lever and is looking for a real quick installation. Now, with the ball itself, you will have to use ball grease to keep it nice and lubricated, because that's now your pivot point. But this is a real interesting innovation to get hooked up really quick when you're on the floor. To secure your cone to the hitch, you have a pin and 2 more set screws. You're going to have 1 bolt on this side and 1 on the other driver's side to keep the cone in position. So a total of 4 set bolts, keeping this right where it should be, along with a pin. And it's secured to your OEM system using these levers. The levers drop right into into the holes, and is really easy to make the adjustments to fit into the space for your puck system. Underneath on the front, you actually have 2 brass washers that are going to help fill in that space on the front. But overall, install is super easy. It's definitely a one-man job. And my favorite feature on here is going to be the handles right here. This allows you to get a grip on your carrier and drop it right where you need it to go. So as far as that installation, let me show you how to put this thing together. So we're going to set our hitch up with the offset going towards the bed a little bit more so. So we're going to take our bottom plate, and it doesn't have a label on it, and we're going to make sure the curves are pointing downward and position it underneath. We're going to take our top plate that does have your data for your hitch and place that on top. Now I'm going to take one of these bolts with a lock washer and just feed it all the way through. I'm going to do the same going catacorner. So I'm going to take one of my flat lock nuts here, and I'm just going to feed it through and hand tighten my plate onto the hitch itself. Now that I have these 2 bolts hand tightened, I'm going to put the remaining 2 bolts in the top along with the lock washers and fasten it all down. Now we're going to finish with my last bolt, and then you're going to take your torque wrench and make sure your nuts are set to the manufacturer's required torque spec. So from here, we're going to now put our entire assembly into our puck system. So first step with that, you're going to take your brass washers. You have 2 of these guys you're going to drop into your front pucks, and they just drop right in. And now you're going to be able to lift and put your hitch right over your pucks. You just can line it up and drop it in. Now, the thing that I think is really cool about this system is the fact that considering it's a 25K 5th wheel hitch, it is super easy to lift. Another real cool feature is the fact that it actually has handles. More times than not, over being heavy, 5th wheel hitches, there's no real place to give it a grip without getting pinched. So that's a real plus in my book. So now we're just going to take our handles and install them. Your front and rear handles actually are different. The rear is actually going to have kind of a fatter pin that's rolled through it, and this one's a little bit more narrow. So you're just going to drop those guys right in. And lock it into place. Now you can see this guy is a little bit off. It's not quite fitting. So you're going to take your 1/2-inch socket wrench, and you're just going to loosen the bolts for your puck bracket here. And that's going to give you enough play in the bracket to align with the hole. When you get it loosened up enough, you should be able to drop right in. And you can lock your position into place with the castle nut. Let's see, raise her up a little bit more. Once you find that spacing, you can take your pin and lock it into place. Since this is just a demo, I'm just sliding it in, but you would take your pliers or your screwdriver and bend that into place so it doesn't slide out so freely. And then last, secure using your linch pin. And you're just gonna slap that guy right on, and then do the same thing on the other side. All right, make sure you tighten the nuts back down so your handle stays nice and secure. And we're going to do the same thing over on the driver's side. Now we're going to install our cone, and we just want to make sure that we have our holes for our pin aligned with the hole on the side to retain it. And once you get it aligned, it's going to drop all the way down. I'm just going to go with the center hole on the cone. I'm just going to secure that with this clip. And then take the extra measure of security. I'm going to take my 2-inch set bolt, and we're going to fasten that in with our 1-inch ratchet on the side. And this will keep the cone in position as we go down the road. And then we're going to take our 2.5-inch bolts and lock in our hitch from the rear. Under normal circumstances, as far as just taking it out the box and installing it, I would say this install would be somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes on the long end. It really goes together really easy. It's very intuitive. You have plenty of space to work and not very many pinch points. So overall, if you're looking for something that's going to give you that increased distance from the back of your cab with an offset without having to sacrifice quality or capacity, PullRite is going to be a great option. A real great thing about this base is you can use this same one for the Super 5th head just by switching out from the cone, and it's designed to be interchangeable, so you can get a lot of flexibility out of it. Well, again, this is Ed with etrailer.com taking a look at the PullRite SuperLite OEX 5th wheel hitch. Have a great day.